I bid you good day. This is Mr. K's. We're talking today about 16.4. The Incas create a mountain empire. If you take a look at a scene from The Emperor's New Groove, this is very similar to the Inca Empire. Well, obviously the movie is going to be based on the Inca Empire. It's a motif for sure, one of their masks. We're going to look at the Incas. Now, they're not in Central America. They're down in South America. They're headquartered around present-day Peru, Chile, Ecuador, right along the western coast of South America. Now, we're going to see, just like the Mayans and the Aztecs had as their mama culture, the Olmec and the Zapotec, the Inca are going to have the Chavin, the Moche, M-O-C-H-E, and the Nazca, N-A-Z-C-A. They're going to influence this great empire of the Inca. Now, the belief here is that the Inca ruler is descended from the sun god, and they worshipped the dead rulers. They considered the ruler that sits on the throne divine, but they also worshiped dead rulers. They mummified the dead rulers. The mummies kept the wealth, so each ruler had to conquer their own territory. So with this thought, the Incas had to continue to conquer more and more territory to call their own, because the wealth was buried with these mummies. The great ruler Pachacuti builds an empire through conquest or war and diplomacy. He allowed the enemy to surrender and keep their own culture. He made it so the conquered people would want to join Pachacuti's empire. He was very forgiving after he took over the enemy, and as I said, they could keep their own culture. Inca government is going to create unity. The Incas were great organizers and administrators, and each area was divided into territories with local rulers. Now, what helped to unite the Incas was the language of Quechua. Quechua was a single language that unified the people in the Inca Empire. It's almost like what Latin did for Rome. Now, if you take a look at the map here, you can see all the way up here from Quito, Ecuador, all the way down the coast to about Santiago, Chile, was the Inca Empire. It grows north and south, not east and west. You'd have the mountains here and the jungles. That would be the eastern barrier, and the Pacific would be the western barrier. And Cusco was the capital city. It was the navel of the earth. Their cities. All roads led to Cusco, Cusco being the capital, C-U-Z-C-O. Their building was very impressive. No iron tools or the wheel, yet they were great stonemasons. The buildings that exist in Cusco today are the foundations of the old Inca buildings, which were anti-seismic devices. They had each building had a 12-sided or a 12-cornered stone that would interlock, and it would be able to take great shaking of earthquakes and still not fall. So they were great at being able to carve stone and place it just so it would not fall during earthquakes. Inca government organizes their communities. Now, small work groups were called Ayllu, A-L-L-Y-U. These small groups worked on projects for the common good. A lot of it had to do with maintaining roads. The government is going to demand tax or tribute, and you paid it in the form of labor. Mita was labor tribute for a certain number of days per year. You owed the government. The roads are going to link the empire. So crushed stone was put down to create these roads. They'd use chasqui, or these runners along the 1,400 miles of the road system. And they would send messages in a relay system for what we would call like a pony express without the ponies, and a postal service. So messages would reach the emperor in Cusco, and he would be able to know what the harvests were, what the taxes were, the number of people. If there were any rebellions, he'd be able to get troops on the road, and so communication was great. The state controls the economy. The government allowed no private trade. So the Incas had kind of like a socialism or welfare state that existed. The emperor owned it all, yet you were taken care of with so much allotted to you based on the work you did. They had terrace farming to make use of the fertile soil on the sides of the hill. For maize, M-A-I-Z-E, which is corn. Quinoa, Q-U-I-N-O-N-A. It looks like quinona, but it's called quinoa, which was a type of grain. And then potatoes. They had 250 different varieties of potatoes, and sometimes they would freeze dry them to preserve them for long periods of time and put them in these granaries or these places to keep for food in case of famine. Government is going to keep records. They had no written language, so they used oral traditions to keep their histories. But they did have what was called quipu, Q-U-I-P-U, which was colored knotted string, which was passed by these runners on the roads, these chasqui, to help them remember the messages. And the knots in the string represented numbers. They had an elaborate calendar system for worship, and so their records were very accurate, even though they didn't have a written language. Religion is going to support the state. It's very important to worship the emperor, but also they worship key nature spirits. I'll give you an example. When you worship the sun, it's equal to the worship of the king. They sacrificed many lamas, L-L-A-M-A-S, or yamas, and they had religious centers like Machu Picchu, M-A-C-H-U-P-I-C-C-H-U. That was a religious center, and it was discovered in 1912, all overgrown with weeds and vines, etc., etc. So they knew the Spaniards, the conquistadors, never found that place. Now, discord in the empire. The empire is going to fall flat as a pancake because the emperor, Huayna Capac, is going to die of disease. And he is going to leave his empire to his two sons, who immediately fight each other for the throne. Eventually winning is the last emperor, Atahualpa. He wrestles the throne from his brother, but in doing so creates a civil war. This is about 1525, and it's about that year that the Spaniards come in and with firearms are able to destroy the Incas and force them to mine gold and silver, and this great empire falls flat as a pancake, just like the Aztecs did. Well, that's the sad story of the great Inca Empire. This is Mr. K's with 16.4. I'm out.